What's up? I'm relaxing here on the boat at anchor, and thanks for joining up with me last night. It was a little late, and it was a little dark, but we actually had a bit of a close call last night. This morning, at like 3 in the morning, I really was kind of unable to sleep. Whenever we're at anchor, I never sleep as well as I should. No, we don't have somebody up keeping a proper watch, but everything looked great. I mean, there were no boats around us. Our anchor had not dragged one bit. And I set a radar alarm, a GPS alarm, so that if anything came inside of a radius on our radar, then it would have, gone beep, beep, beep. And I set a GPS alarm to drag in case we dragged into a new position. And we're fine. That was 3 a.m. At whatever, 6:30 this morning. I hear this air horn, and I see this flash, bright flashes of light. And it was a pretty good-sized boat, I'd say over 100 feet, and it was maybe 50, 60 feet away from us. And there was a British or an Australian guy kind of yelling, "Yo, man, you need to move your boat. You need to move your boat. You've been swinging all night into my boat." And that's just not true. But suffice it to say, it was a bit... I don't know, a little bit shocking to me. So we got up, ran up into the cockpit promptly, fired up the engine, brought the anchor up rather, repositioned the boat. I'm still convinced that it had nothing to do with us. I think he's the one who might have dragged anchor and not realized it. My GPS alarm never went off. I checked the position and we were fine. But anyways, all's well that ends well. So let's get up. Oh, beautiful day. And flip the camera around. We'll start doing our outside walk around of the boat. So I'm in the cockpit right now. And, oh, my little guy. Hey, Griffin. Say hi, dude. Come on, bud. All right, maybe not. All right, so looking aft here. This is the swim platform. There's a couple of stairs going down to it. And it really is really well suited to just hanging out and lounging at anchor. You can see here, I'm laying down, and the curvature of the swim platform here is really very comfortable. So if you want to just kind of hang out here, it's a really well suited place. It's, you can see, pretty isolated from the rest of the boat, and you kind of have your own space, and it's in the shade in this case, and it's cool. Oh. We'll get up, flip this thing around. And there's the tender right there. So the tender flies off of the arch here. And this arch is made by, I think I mentioned last night, Atlantic Towers. And they're somewhere out in New Jersey. It's a one-size-fits-most tower for larger boats, not huge boats, but it does really well with catamarans because it's able to expand in width significantly. I still have a bunch of videos on SV airspeed, which we're going to consolidate all into this channel. But go ahead and check those out if you want to see some more detailed information. I guess I'll just finish up with the tower here. There's davits hanging off the back. I have a 6-part block and tackle here, which gives me tremendous mechanical advantage when recovering the dinghy, which is quite heavy. It's about 450 pounds, and that's when we take the fuel tank out. It's got a 30 horse 4-stroke Suzuki motor on the back of it, and it's pretty heavy. So it's difficult to recover. It's a pain in the butt, and I think that I may have overbought the dinghy a little bit. It's just a little bit too big. I'm gonna make some modifications to the pulley system here, and I'll probably do a video on that eventually. But that's not what this video is about. So let's flip the camera around and keep going. So we're facing the left, or the port side of the boat, and say hi, Julie. And now we're facing the right, or the starboard side of the boat. You can see there are 2 steering wheels, otherwise known as helms. Okay. Now the starboard helm here has the throttle control, the engine control, and the bow thruster control. And it has a binnacle here, compass. And it has the wind and depth instruments and autopilot control. So this is the wind, this is the tri-data, and this here is the autopilot control. This here is the chain counter, which, oh, can you even see that? Yeah, that's the chain counter, and windlass control. I'm going to turn this thing down a little bit. So we can control the anchor from all the way back here. On the port side helm, it's almost an exact replica. Some important stuff like the stereo control and cup holder. And then we have another binnacle. And then the same instrumentation, wind, tri-data, and autopilot control. And a mirror image on both sides. We have electric winches, self-tailing winches. These are big Harken winches. They're 2-speed powered winches with a 70 ratio. This is slow, or that's fast and that's slow. You can see that when you press it, it takes up the line and it tails itself. Same thing on the other side here. Here's the engine control for the 100 horsepower Yanmar diesel. And there's also some controls to transfer fuel from the long range extended tank into the working tank, which is like 65 gallons. And then we have a big tank forward, which gives the boat tremendous range. And of course the range depends on how fast you're going and a variety of other conditions. This is the light control, the anchor light, the steaming light, and the deck light. If we continue to look backward here, we're now on the starboard. It's called the lazarette. The lazarette is just a big storage void in the boat. There's like a shelf down in here that, we store line and various things. There's also the shore power bifurcation of the shore power. It's a 50 amp and it comes in here. One of these breakers controls the house, meaning all of the electrical system that runs the utilities such as the water maker and things like that. The other one runs just the air conditioners. Okay, we'll close that one up. And then going over to the port side, we have a mirror image lazarette where I keep my dive tanks, and the water maker is right there. I'm not going to go into a full detail on the water maker, but it's a Horizon Safari. It's about 750 gallons of production per day. It's a reverse osmosis system that literally takes in seawater. Okay, it pre-filters it on this filter on the left here. And then it goes through oil-water separation on that next stage filter. And then using that high-pressure pump, which is that pump, that motor right behind the two filters, it uses high pressure to force the seawater through that white horizontal cylinder known as a membrane. And it literally separates the salt from the water. After that, it goes into that stainless steel device down below there, and that is an ultraviolet filter, a blue light filter, kills any bacteria or microbes in the microorganisms that are left in the water. And then finally it goes to a charcoal filter here, a blue canister, which basically freshens the water and makes it taste good. Now I'm not keen really on drinking the water through the water maker. I just guess I'm not there yet in my mind. Maybe one more stage, like a Brita filter at the tap, would make it a little better for me, in my mind anyhow. But the idea is that you don't need to tank as much water when you can make it on the fly, and so that's pretty cool. And it ostensibly gives the boat almost unlimited amount of time away from the dock. Obviously, the limiting factor being you need electricity to run the water maker, and you need a generator to make electricity. Of course, there are ways around that. We can go full solar. If we go full solar, we charge a battery bank. We use an inverter to power the water maker. We're not there yet. We don't have solar on this boat, and it's something that we'll look into shortly, but not right yet. So the idea of producing water is a pretty awesome one. So let's back up here and flip the camera around again. Whoa, it's pretty rolly out here at anchor. In the center here we have our cockpit mounted, pod mounted GPS chart plotter with radar and AIS. The radar obviously is on board on the mast, and the AIS is similar to ADS-B in an airplane, and it broadcasts vessels location and speed coordinates on our screen so that we can see if we're on a collision course with any other boats. So the cool thing about this particular boat is, if you have any exposure to sailboats in general, there are really two main varieties. There's a center cockpit and an aft cockpit. This boat is technically an aft cockpit because the helm stations are all the way aft. But, an aft cockpit boat typically has so much more of the cabin top brought aft. In this boat, it has an absolutely enormous cockpit. It can seat, 14 people. It's significant. So it has all of the benefits of an aft cockpit and all of the benefits of a center cockpit all baked into one. But you can see here these portholes on the inboard sides of both of these seats, and forward inboard as well. Those are aft cabins, and we already did the inside tour. The aft cabins come back very far, so you have a lot of entertaining capabilities. It has a cockpit that is as functional, many would say, as a catamaran, but in my opinion, and it's just an opinion, but it's an age-old debate, but all the benefits of a monohull, and nothing against catamarans. They're amazing in their own way. So let's move forward on the port side. Flip around again. And this is all the nice little cutouts up here. And in keeping with the one hand for the ship and one hand for me, make my way forward here. And I've got brand new lifelines that I just put on the boat. The new trend, I guess, is that people are getting lifelines that do not have the white vinyl covering. The white vinyl covering serves to trap moisture and just deteriorate the material more quickly. You can see this rig here is very, very stout. This is 5/8 inch wire for the main shrouds. This is what they call a discontinuous rig. Okay, discontinuous means that every segment is its own segment of wire. It's not one continuous piece of wire. And it's more of a racing-oriented type of rig. This is not a racing boat, but it's a very fast cruising boat. This boat is very quick, and that's a function of the type of rig that it has. This has a very, very tall, triple spread masthead sloop rig. And you can see, if I'm standing abeam of the mast, you can see the aft rake in the mast. The rake is kind of how it's bent backwards. And there are all sorts of reasons, that some of which exceed even my knowledge. But it's really a design that's suited toward racing boats. Now the weight and displacement ratio, weight and displacement to the rig size ratio determines a lot of the performance here. Also, the size and type of sails. So let's just start here with some of the details on this rig. This has a stiff vang. This vang is this angular tube here, which adjusts the angle of the boom. So when the boat is going downwind meaning the wind behind you, the boom will have a natural tendency to want to go up. So the vang is used in that case to keep it down. And in other cases, you want the boom to ride up a little bit here. So the vang is used to control that. This here is the attachment between the boom and the mast. It's called the gooseneck. And it's amazing to consider the forces that are exerted on this structure here. And they all rely on the shear strength of 2 bolts, really, at the end of the day. Obviously, it's being held together by all of this other fastening apparatus. But it's really quite remarkable. And Daddy's doing a video. Quick. Okay, guys, you got to hold on to something. So this here has an in-mast furling mainsail, okay? You've probably seen many sailboats where the sail gets lowered and it sits on top of the boom, and then they tie, they tie the sail to the mast, and they put it to the boom, and they put a bag over it. This is I would say a newer style where the mainsail actually is coiled or rolled up inside the mast structure itself. And the way that you bring it out is with this line called an outhaul. This is a brand new outhaul line. Like I said in one of my prior videos, a lot of the running rigging, which is all soft, the rope, it's not the wire, but the rope is worn out, deteriorated, and just on the brink of failure. So I've replaced this and a couple of other lines on the boat. This is the main sheet, which allows the boom to go in and out. Well, in any case, that when you're bringing out, or when you're quote raising the mainsail, you bring it out on this outhaul here, and this is a car, and this is a track, and this is called the outhaul track. And here's a stopper on the end here. Well, I was sailing one day, and this popped off, and this car went flying off. Now inside here, you can't really see it. I don't think you can see it at all, actually. You have to just take my word for it. There are like 200 little ball bearings in here. They're made by Torlon, or not, made of Torlon, which is some synthetic composite material. And all these little BBs went flying all over the boat, and that was it for sailing for us for the day. So I actually, what, Griffin? I hear the train. Yep. And listen, we're doing a video with all our friends on YouTube right now. Okay. So you want to say hi? Say hi. Okay. Stay away from the hatch here, buddy. Now, please. Away from the hatch. Sorry about that, guys. So I actually had to repack all of those bearings. I'm kind of wishing I'd done videos on that, but there's no way I could have filmed that while doing it. It's just insanely like detailed. Boys, that's not a train, that's a boat. All right, so sorry, I'm a little distracted here. I've got to make sure these kids are safe. So we'll just continue to move our way forward. If you guys want to see more detail on any one of these things that we're looking at right now, just let me know, and we'll just leave a comment or send me a message or whatever, and we'll zoom in on any one of these subjects. This here is how you recover the mainsail here. Okay, this is called the mainsail furling line, and the way it works is this line here wraps around this coil on the inside. I don't know if you can see that or not. and it essentially just wraps the sail back up. And if I'm able to do that when we go sailing today, to take a video of that, I will do so. Let's move forward, and this is our owl friend that we call Hooey. Hoo hoo hoo! And my kids both love owls. They have little owl pets, little stuffed animals. So this is Big Hooey, and he sits here staring at all the birds to scare them away. Moving forward here, these lines, which I have replaced, these are the jib sheets. I'm sure you're hearing a lot of wind noise right now. I'm really sorry about that, guys. Nothing I can really do about it. And these are the main control lines for the head sail. The head sail is on a motorized furler, and you step on a switch in the cockpit, and it spins the sail around this head stay. This head stay goes all the way to the top of the mast, and that's why they call it a masthead sloop. So one thing we didn't do in the interior tour yesterday is show you this forward locker. It's a mess, so I'm not going to go into all the detail, but it's a workshop here. And there's a bench down there. There's a bench on the side. This is the stair ladder that goes straight down. There's storage for lines and warps and whatever you need. We keep another spare anchor, a very large anchor down here, as well as fenders and all sorts of additional things, life preservers, so on and so forth. Now this sail locker can be converted to a cabin, a crew cabin, and it's something you obviously need to, it's an option you need to specify when you buy the boat. The fellow that I bought the boat from ordered this boat new, and evidently he did not need. Griffin, hey, one hand on the boat, go back to the cockpit, both of you, please. Now, both of you. Sorry, guys. He didn't need crew cabin, crew quarters, but the way that would be situated would be a single or two bunks on one side, two singles stacked on top of each other, and then there's a little open head. You got to be pretty friendly with each other to stay in that. Presumably, it would be used for a husband-wife team or boyfriend-girlfriend type of team, and the only access is through this top hatch here. And it keeps the crew kind of isolated for their privacy, and I would say specifically for the privacy of the owners, keeps everybody kind of in their own space. What else? Let me just close this thing down. I'm going to flip the camera around for you guys again. This video's turned a little longer than I wanted to. I don't want to bore people too badly, but at the same time I want to show you enough that if you're interested in seeing any more detail, we can break it out into other videos. This here is just the cover for the dinghy. We kept it up here so it could dry out. And going back the other way here on the starboard side, we have wastewater pump out, or waste pump out, and then water tank fill ports, so that we can go to a dock, a fuel dock. And speaking of Hooey, there's Joshua's little Hooey. I have him, buddy. Go back to the cockpit now. And then moving further back, one thing I don't think we touched on here, this here is called a preventer line. And so when you're on a point of sail, and let's say the boom is set somewhere off center, what you'll do is you'll take up on these lines here, so that in the case of sudden wind shift or the crew not paying attention, the boom won't go flying and knock somebody dead, which has happened many times throughout history. It's a very well-known cause of injury and death on a sailboat. So thanks for taking the time to hang out with us here on Sailing Vessel Airspeed. And if you haven't already subscribed, you know what to do. You got to just subscribe and just hit the subscribe. Hit the like button as well. It helps to push our videos out to other people that may be interested in this type of content. I have a couple ideas of what to rename the channel. I don't want to abandon any of the things that we have done and we'll probably go back to on one level or another. So if you have any thoughts on that, just put them in the comments, send me a message, whatever the case may be. And click the little bell so you get notified when we come out with some new stuff. We're going to start doing some more live stuff. I haven't had a lot of opportunity to sit down and do any editing. I think the vlog style works out pretty well for now. And we'll keep it that way for now until it doesn't make sense. And we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks again.